Hare Krishna. Om Adnyanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome back to Wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. And I'm wishing you all who are attending the program a very happy Diwali. So this whole week we are celebrating Diwali, various different festivals, and very wonderfully we are also on this chapter of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. So all the festivals that we celebrate is to actually reconnect ourselves, remind ourselves that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are all servants of that Master. And as soon as we understand this relationship that we have with the Supreme Lord, then that yoga process is established between us and the Supreme Lord. And by that yoga process, then we can purify ourselves further and develop love for Krishna. But mainly the purpose of the festival is to remind ourselves of our relationship with the Supreme Lord, and then somehow or the other offer some devotional service in this particular time. So this is Kartik month, Diwali, and we are talking about Bhakti Yoga. So this is such a wonderful occasion. So let us continue our discussion on this devotional service chapter. So till now, in the first 12 verses that we covered last week, we have discussed that Arjuna started this chapter by asking a question that who is more perfect? The person who's worshipping you in the personal form, he's asking Krishna, that is the worshipper of Krishna who is actually worshipping the personal form of Krishna. So especially, so he's referring to the person who's following the path of bhakti. He is more perfect, or the person who is worshipping the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord in like Brahman. So who is more perfect? So as soon as Arjuna asks this question, Krishna immediately clarifies and says that those engaged in devotional service are more perfect. They are the most perfect, actually. He says that they are the most perfect who are engaged in the devotional service. And why is that? Because it is the easiest path. It is the easiest path, it is the best path, and it gives the highest result that we can get out of anything, out of any path. The path of impersonalism, that also finally at the end leads to Krishna in its impersonal feature, but still they still reach absolute feature, absolute truth. But that path is very, very, it is said, kleshu adhiktarastesham. So it is very troublesome. There are very lot of difficulties for us. And why it is difficult? Because we are all embodied. And for embodied beings, worshipping the impersonal feature of the Lord is very difficult because we cannot use our senses, we cannot focus our mind on some form. So that is why it is very hard. It is very, very, Krishna says that it is very troublesome and very difficult to achieve. But in comparison, he says that the path of bhakti is very, very easy. And it is easy because Krishna himself helps the devotees. As we see in this picture, when we are doing devotional service, Krishna comes personally to help the devotee to take him out of this material existence. And we have to just raise our hand and surrender to Krishna. And Krishna is just picking you up from the top. So this is how the process of bhakti is so easy. We have to do our endeavor, but then we can also depend on the mercy of the Supreme Lord and Supreme Lord and his devotees. And this is how we get benefited. And that is why the process of bhakti is so easy to do. It swiftly delivers. Krishna says in that verse that he swiftly delivers the devotees. And then after that, Krishna actually mentions the levels, like it's a ladder of bhakti he has given. So he's giving us various different options. The topmost option or the best part is like the best way that we can do the bhakti is by having our mind and intelligence both fixed on Krishna. So this is he's describing a pure devotee who is at the level of prema bhakti. If we cannot do this pure bhakti, where the mind and intelligence both are completely fixed on Krishna, then Krishna says that if you are not able to do that, that's okay. You can do sadhana bhakti. You can follow the regulative principles of bhakti, sadhana bhakti you can do. And by doing this, you can develop the desire to attain Krishna. But if you cannot even do the sadhana bhakti process where you're doing abhyasa, you're practicing, you're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you're struggling, you're not able to focus, but still you are consistently and with determination, you're doing your sadhana, you're doing abhyas, you are chanting your Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you're offering bhoga and you're eating only prasadam, you're having devotee association, you're reading scriptures. So all of those things, you're visiting Holy Dham, you're doing deity worship, you're trying to do all of that process. But Krishna says that if you're not even able to do this, then you can engage your senses into my service. So work for me. So you can do some service. So our mind is subtle, more subtle than our senses. So engaging our senses is easier than engaging our mind. So when we are doing abhyasa or mantra meditation, we are trying to engage our mind in Krishna's service and we are trying to train the mind. And it is not easy for everyone to engage our mind in Krishna's service. That is why sadhana bhakti process is higher than just doing some service for Krishna, because there you are only engaging your body in Krishna's service. So if you cannot engage your mind or try to train your mind into Krishna's service, Krishna says that at least you engage your senses in my service. So do some seva for me. And then by doing this, you can come to the stage of devotional service. But then some people are not even able to do some service for Krishna. They are, for whatever reason, they are not able to engage their body, engage their mind, engage their intelligence in service for Krishna. So for them, Krishna says that, okay, fine. If you can't even do that, then do some indirect path. You can actually sacrifice some of your fruit for some other good cause. So you're sacrificing, you're not enjoying all the success, all the fruits of your activities for your own enjoyment. So you're sacrificing some of that. And if you cannot even do that, then Krishna says that do some knowledge, do some meditation, all of that. So some indirect path Krishna has mentioned. And finally, if you do like this, then you will get purified and you will get peace and you will get slowly elevated. So this is what Lord Krishna has mentioned till now. Now, originally, Arjuna has asked who's more perfect. So mainly, Arjuna is trying to find out who's more dear to Krishna. So that is why now, in the next 8 verses that we are going to see today, Krishna is actually mentioning various different qualities. He is going to mention various different qualities which endears us to Krishna. So, what qualities that we have to develop as devotees, which will make us very dear to Krishna? So these 8 verses are very important for all devotees. So there are actually 35 qualities which are mentioned. Actually, there are many are repeated in the 35 that we are saying, but you get an idea that there are many qualities which are mentioned here in these 8 verses, which Krishna himself says. So most of these verses, Krishna will say, Priya, Priya, Priya. So he's saying that those devotees having these qualities, they are very, very dear to me. So it is Krishna's list that he has given, that what he wants to see in his devotees. I was listening to one of the lectures of Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Swami, and Maharaj was mentioning that we have so many to-do lists, and many devotees maintains this list of things to do. But here, Maharaj says that here Krishna has given a list, which is not a to-do list, but it's a to-be list, what we should become. So this is the first time in our life we should actually take this to-be list and then see that, okay, these are the things that Krishna wants his devotee to become, to-be list. And okay, I have achieved this quality, I have achieved this quality, I have achieved this quality. Oh, I'm not actually very good at this quality or this quality or that quality. So this list we should maintain, and then just like to-do list, we tick. So that is how we should develop this to-be list as well in our life. And out of these 35 qualities, there are actually two kinds of qualities which are mentioned here. So first, like there are essential qualities, and then there are some auxiliary or tatastha lakshan. So there is swarupa lakshan or tatastha lakshan. So swarupa means which is the main, um, it is the essential quality that is there. So there is one essential quality that is there, and the remaining ones are all auxiliary or tatastha qualities or tatastha lakshan. And that one important quality out of this 35 is bhaktiman. Bhaktiman means the person should actually develop devotion for Krishna. So if that quality is missing, all other qualities will become material qualities. So they will not have a lot of value. So we have to actually understand that yes, there are so many qualities mentioned, but the essential quality is that we have to become a devotee of Krishna. And once we become devotee, all the other remaining qualities will also develop. Of course, we have to actually make our own effort as well. Not saying that, okay, for example, one of the qualities that we should tolerate or we should not become envious of anyone. So we should not say that, oh, I am a devotee, and that is the essential quality. All of these other qualities like non-enviousness or being equipoise or be tolerant, these are all tatastha. They are all auxiliary. They are secondary. So I don't have to focus on them. It is not like that. We have to actually do our sincere endeavor to develop those qualities. Why? Because Krishna has said that all of these qualities will make us dear to him. Krishna is actually not, he cannot be, we cannot attract Krishna by developing any of the opulences. That we cannot say that, okay, I will become the most famous person. And of course, Krishna will have to actually then uh, recognize me. But how will that attract Krishna? Krishna just does some stealing of butter, and then that also he becomes famous. Krishna actually runs away even from a battlefield, and that also he becomes famous. So how can you doing something will attract him? Someone may say that, okay, I will become very, very wealthy, and then that will attract Krishna. No, he's Lakshmipati. Lakshmi is his consort. So how can you attract someone by possessing some little Lakshmi that you have, some wealth that you have? Or you will become very, very powerful, and you may think that, okay, I have this opulence now. I'm so strong that Krishna has to acknowledge me. And Krishna has to actually understand that, yeah, this particular devotee is very, very strong. But Krishna lifts the Govardhan hill on his left hand, just the pinky finger, this little finger, for 7 days and 7 nights. Even if someone is very strong, that person cannot lift even a brick for 7 days and 7 nights on his left hand's little finger. It's not possible. So, how can we attract Krishna? And same for other qualities. So, how can we attract Krishna by any opulence that we may have? So, we cannot attract Krishna by those. We can only attract Krishna by our qualities. And that is why this to be list, which is given by Krishna here, is very important for us. If we do not actually uh, develop these other opulences that we are trying to focus on, that is okay. But if we just focus on these qualities that Krishna has asked us to develop, then that will endear us to Krishna. So that is why these qualities which are mentioned are important. So let us, with this context, let us start looking at what qualities the Lord has mentioned for all of us. So, verse number 13 and 14 together. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitrah karuna eva cha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha sakshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma drida nishchayah mayarpitamano buddhir yo madbhakta same priyaha. Yes, Paminder Prabhuji, then Vidushi Mataji, and then Kalakali Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And here, Krishna has actually given in just these two verses 10 qualities. So these 10 qualities are mentioned by Krishna in these two verses. So we'll look at them one by one, very, very briefly. All of these qualities we will be discussing. So all of these Vaishnava qualities we have to develop, and each quality can become a seminar in itself. That how we can develop. For example, we talk about art of tolerance, or how we become non-envious. So all of these things we can actually talk, and how we can become equipoised. We can discuss for a long time. But here we are going to talk about all of these qualities in next whatever half an hour, uh, 45 minutes or so. So Lord Shri Krishna is saying the first quality itself, Lord Shri Krishna is saying that we should be non-envious, adveshta. And he says adveshta sarva bhutanam. So he is not saying that we should not be envious of other fellow devotees. He's saying that sarva bhutanam, we should not be envious of anyone, not only human beings, but even animals as well. Animals, plants, no one we should be of envious. So this is what is mentioned. And even if someone else is envious of you, you should not be reciprocative with that. You should not become envious of them. If someone hates you, you should not become the hater of those people who are hating you. So this is how we should become non-envious. So people become envious when they see something that they want to have, but someone else is having it. For example, or actually when they also see some threat to their positions or power or whatever. And a very good example is Indra. So when Indra saw that Prithu Maharaj was doing these 100 sacrifice, and he was very, very envious that I am Shatakrutu. So I have done 100 sacrifices, Ashwamedha sacrifices, and I have been given this name, Shatakrutu, that I have actually done 100 sacrifices. But suddenly, now Prithu Maharaj is also doing 100 sacrifices. And if he does 100 sacrifices, then he will get the position of Indra and I will be demoted. So he did not want Prithu Maharaj to be successful. And he became very, very envious and he tried to steal the horse in the 100 sacrifice. So that story comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Most of you would be aware of it. So, uh, but Prithu Maharaj did not become envious of him. He tried to actually chastise Indra in the beginning, just to make sure that his sacrifice completes. But as soon as Brahmaji asked him to give up that and do not not do the 100 sacrifice, he did not say that, hey, I'm not doing the wrong thing. Indra is doing the wrong thing. Instead of actually going to Indra and asking him not to actually do this, you are coming to me and asking me to not to do the 100 sacrifice. It doesn't make sense. But he did not actually say that. He actually took the instruction from Brahmaji, uh, considering him his superior, and he said that, okay, if this is what you want, I will stop it. And then Indra also understood. Krishna actually became very pleased with him. And he came personally and he brought Indra as well. And Indra apologized. So Prithu did not become envious of him. Same thing with Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni as well. In that example, we see that Durvasa Muni, even though he tried to kill Ambarish Maharaj, he did not become envious with Durvasa Muni. He was actually still waiting that Durvasa Muni will come, and then he will eat, and then I will eat. So for so many, like the Durvasa Muni was roaming around from one place to another, but Ambarish Maharaj was still waiting for him, and he was not hating him. In fact, he became a very genuine well-wisher of Durvasa Muni. In the end, we see when he asks for forgiveness, he immediately forgives him, and he actually prays to Sudarshan Chakra that if I have done any devotion, then please forgive him. So he used his own devotional service to ask Sudarshan Chakra to go away and not harm Ambarish Maharaj. Sorry, Durvasa Muni. So this is how the devotees are non-envious. So generally, this envy or non-enviousness we can see actually at multiple levels. So when someone is becoming very successful or more successful than yourself, then we become envious. And at that point, we have to actually apply this non-enviousness. And this is the basic level. This is the minimum that is required from devotees. But we can go even further. This higher level is that not only you not become envious of that person who is becoming more successful, you go and help them. Because you see that this devotee is actually serving Krishna in a nice way, and he is serving better than me. So why should I actually become envious of him and pull him down? Idea is that Krishna's pleasure is more important. So instead of actually pulling him down, I will help him so that that service can even further improve and Krishna will become more pleased. So that is the higher level of non-enviousness, that you are not pulling that person down, but even supporting that person to do that, a devotee to do the service. So you become a genuine well-wisher of others. And even higher than that is you can set up a society of non-envious people. So all your congregation, you should actually develop in a way that they are non-envious of each other. So uh, the first two levels are at the personal level, but when you actually also develop that in the community, then that community becomes Vaikuntha community. They are all non-envious of each other. And then more and more devotees will get attracted towards Krishna to this non-envious community. So that will be even like a global level. So such non-enviousness we have to develop. Then the next quality is he's kind friend to all living entities. So he's not only non-envious, but he's also friend to everyone. He's a genuine well-wisher, and the best well-wishing that we can do with others is by distributing Krishna consciousness, giving them the bhakti seed, and then develop that for them and fan that spark that they have. Then the third one is nirmama. Nirmama. So nirmama means he's free from proprietorship. So he does not think that he himself is a proprietor because the devotee understands that the only proprietor is Lord Shri Krishna. Everything is owned by him. Not only this property or the relatives or whatever, even this body is not owned by us. Because if it was owned by us at the time of death, we would have taken it with along with us. We leave this behind. We leave all our property behind. We leave all our relatives behind. If they were ours, then we would have taken it with us. But we can't take it. So the devotee understands that there is no point in claiming to be a proprietor of anything in this short lifespan that we have. We should understand that everything is owned by Krishna and it is Krishna's property. And temporarily, Krishna has given us to manage some of these things. Even our relatives, our responsibilities are temporarily ours, and we should do them properly. But we should not get attached that this is mine. And the next one it is mentioned, it is free, the person is free from false ego. The ego means identity. And false ego means wrong identity. So thinking that I am this body is false ego. That is the wrong identity that we have. So being free from false ego means that we understand our real identity, that we are the servant of the Supreme Lord. So I'm not the body, I am the spirit soul. I am part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is my Lord and Master, and I am his servant. So this is the real ego. This is the real identity. And by that, then we can go further. This person is equal in happiness and distress. When I'm saying this person, we have to all be that person. The devotee has to be equal in happiness and distress. He's equipoised. He understands, the devotee understands that in the second chapter itself, Krishna has mentioned this. Matra sparshastu kaunte shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama paino nityam stam titiksha bharata. So titiksha, the next one, tolerance is also coming here. That this happiness and distress are temporary. They are going to come and go just like the summer and winter season comes and goes. They are temporary. And this happiness and distress is based on whatever activities that we have done in the past. And they are going to come even if we ask for it or not ask for it. So that is why we should not get too much agitated with even in when we are very happy or very, very distressed. We should just be steady and continue doing our devotional service and tolerate it. Never get disturbed in any of the circumstances. So there is this wonderful story that comes in ninth canto of King Rantidev, and he was doing this fasting uh, for a long period of time, and he actually fasted for the welfare of everyone. So it was not that he was doing it for his own self. And after this fasting, he was supposed to now break the fast. Uh, so when his fast was over, he was brought some food. And he was just about to eat this food. He was now very, very thin. He was almost like about to die. And then he was given this food to break his fast. But at the time he was just about to eat it, at that time, one Shudra person came and he said that I'm very hungry. Give me some food. So Rantidev did not say that, hey, I have been fasting for so long and this was for welfare of all. If I do not eat now, I'm going to die. Why don't you go and ask from someone else? No, he tolerated. He said that, okay, this is Krishna's arrangement. So he just, whatever food that he had, he fed this person who came and his entire family. Then there was still some food which was remaining. So he then sat for eating. Then there was another person who came with his dogs. And he said, oh, my dogs are very hungry. Can you give them something? And he said, Arey, I am going to die. Aryan, you are asking me for giving some food, little remaining. You are asking me to give to dogs? He did not say that. He just said that, okay, the dogs are hungry. Okay. Please eat everything. And the dogs ate all the food which was remaining. Now, and they drank most of the water as well. Now, only little water was remaining for him to drink. And when he was just about to drink it, then a dog eater came, like a chandala came. And he said, I'm very thirsty. Do you have some water for me to drink? And he was thinking, oh, this is all arrangement of the Supreme Lord. Because if Krishna wanted me to drink the water or eat, this wouldn't have happened. So um, so anyway, I was doing this for the welfare of everyone. So let me suffer the for welfare of others. This person wants water, so here it is. So he just gave up that water as well, and this person drank it. Now he had nothing remaining. But all of a sudden, suddenly, all of these persons who came, like the dogs and this dog eater, the Shudra person, the family, and all of them actually came in front of him, and then they become devatas. And they were just saying, they just said that we were just testing you and just to show to the world that how great personality you are. Srila Prabhupada always used to say that one's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. So in the normal situation, we can become peaceful and calm. But when the provoking situation comes, at that time our real swarupa, our real mode will come out. So in the art of tolerance sessions, we generally talk about that whatever is inside, when we press it, will come out. So if we press the mango, then the mango juice, sweet, nice mango juice will come out. If we press a Karela, then the bitter Karela juice will come out. Bitter God. So this is what we actually understand. When the provoking situation comes, whatever is inside will come out. So that is why one's greatness is to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate the provoking situations. So when you are able to tolerate some provoking situations, then you are progressing, you are becoming greater and greater. You are developing some good qualities. Anyway, I think we can talk a lot about that as well, but let's move on. The next quality is mentioned is always satisfied. The devotee is always satisfied. Santushta, santushta. The devotee is satisfied. So whatever he gets by Lord's grace, he does not over endeavor beyond that. So he will do his endeavors, but with that, whatever little that he gets, little or more he gets, he will be satisfied by that. A devotee doesn't say that, oh, and it is not that he just gives it up. For example, Arjuna and Yudhishthir are Kshatriyas, they are kings. So they have big, big palaces, they have gold jewelry and everything, and a lot of comforts. So they were not over endeavoring. With that, whatever endeavor they get, with that endeavor, whatever they receive, they are using it. And when they lost everything, still they remain devotees. So that is how they are always satisfied. Santushta satatam yogi yatatma drudha nishchaya. Then it is mentioned they are self-controlled because they are yogi, satatam yogi. Santushta satatam. Actually, they are always satisfied, and then they are yogi with a drudha nishchaya. They are engaged with determination, and they are always self-controlled. Um, so self-control is required because our senses are always looking for some enjoyment. And if we do not have control over those senses, then we cannot make any progress. Krishna has said already in the sixth chapter that for controlling the mind, we require abhyasa and we require vairagya. So vairagya means detachment and detachment from sense enjoyment that is required. So that self-control is required for all of us. Then engage in bhakti with determination. We have to actually drudha nishchaya. We have to have fixed determination that no matter what happens, we will remain focused on the path of bhakti. Sometimes some challenges come in devotee's life, and then that can shake the person's faith in Krishna or this process. But the devotee has to remain fixed up that uh, the challenges are going to come based on our past karma. The devotee has this determination that actually I was supposed to get bigger reaction, but Krishna has actually reduced that reaction and giving just me a token reaction. Because we have to understand that we have taken so many lifetimes, and each lifetime we have this balance reaction that we are carrying. And it is like Mount Everest on top of our head. If we could see the reactions which are pending from this many, many lifetimes, probably they are multiple, uh, like more taller than the Mount Everest. So if Krishna had to actually give all those reactions to us in this one lifetime, because we have to go back in after this lifetime, then we would be suffering so much. But Krishna is just giving this fraction of that reaction and then uh, waving off all the other remaining reaction. So that determination we should have. And his mind and intelligence should be fixed on Krishna. So that is a pure devotee that we saw, 12.8. The highest is Mai Arpita Manobuddhir. So both mind and intelligence is fixed on the Supreme Lord. So all of these qualities we have to develop. Okay, let us go ahead and see the next verse. Yasmano dvijate loko, lokano dvijate च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः. Who was next? Yeah, Vidusha. Yeah.
He for whom no one is put into difficulty, and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me.
Thank you. In this particular verse, okay, actually, let's read the next verse as well, and we'll discuss two verses together. अनपेक्षा शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्ता समे प्रियः.
My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result is very dear to me.
Thank you, Mother. So there are total 9 qualities are mentioned in these two verses. Is it the entire slide is not visible, right? For some reason?
No, Prabhuji, yeah.
Yeah, now it is again. Okay. So there are 9 qualities which are coming in these two verses. So in the 15th verse, it is quite interesting that what Lord is saying, that a, a devotee never causes distress to others. And whatever other people does, he doesn't get distressed himself. So two things are mentioned. So what is said? He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone. So he puts no one in difficulty. So he's not creating situations by which someone else is going to be in anxiety, difficulty, fearfulness, dissatisfaction, nothing like that. He does not put anyone in difficulty. And he is not disturbed by anyone as well. The other person may do whatever, but he will still remain equipoised. So when we are saying that he does not put anyone in difficulty, in some situations, we may have to actually take up that role. But in heart, we are doing it not out of envy. For example, a spiritual master has to sometimes chastise the disciples. The parents sometimes has to actually scold the children. And the children and the disciple may get agitated or fearful, or they get distressed because of this chastisement that they are receiving. So that chastisement is required, because it is, we should not be saying that, oh, the devotee does not put anyone in difficulty. So even if someone is doing something wrong, I will just continue doing it. Or someone is in an administrative position, they have to actually make sure that other devotees are not taking, like devotees are, someone is not taking advantage of other devotees. And he has to actually do something which the other person may get agitated because of that. But he has to do it as part of his duty, as long as it is not done out of the envy in the heart, as long as what is being done is out of the love for that devotee or love for that person. Just like parents are giving corrections to children out of love. Parents are not envious of their children. Just like the spiritual master is not envious of the disciples. They are giving that correction for the disciples' own benefit so that they can progress. Similarly, if we also give some feedback or something that they can improve on, mainly from the perspective that they can progress, and it is not out of our envy in our heart, then we still fall into this category that he puts no one in difficulty, because your purpose, intention is that they progress and they are not disturbed by anyone. Then it is mentioned Harsha Marsha Bhayo Dvaigair. So equipoising happiness, distress, fear, and anxiety. They are not worried about what will happen in future. They have firm faith Krishna will look after me. And there is no anxiety that they have for future. So this is the qualities that we have to develop. And Krishna says, such a devotee is very dear to me. Priya. So many times you will see earlier also in the 14th verse, Krishna said, Mad Bhakta Same Priya. Now again he sings Sachame Priya. Then again in 16th verse, he said Mad Bhakta Same Priya. And then Bhakti Manya Same Priya. So many times he is saying Bhakto Ste Ativa Me Priya. So many times Krishna is saying that such a devotee is very, very dear to me, very dear to me, like that. So all of these qualities are for our own benefit. Krishna has given that this list of qualities that we should develop. Then anapeksha in the 16th verse we saw that anapeksha shuchir daksha. Anapeksha means that not have any expectations from others. So we remain neutral, because when we start having expectations from others, most of the time our expectations are not justified, and other people may not even know our expectations, and if they do not fulfill those expectations, then we become very, very disturbed. So it is better to actually not have any expectations, and if they do something for us, then we will become pleased. So instead of that, if we have expectation, then we will become frustrated that, oh, this is not happening, that is not happening. So better to actually not have any expectations. We should remain neutral. Then Shuchi. Shuchi means we have to be pure. And Srila Prabhupada talks about in the purport that we should be internally and externally both. We should remain pure. So we have to take bath to external for purification. And internal purification, we should rise early and engage in devotional service, like chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in the Brahma Muhurta. So doing our rounds, so that will internally purify us. Daksha means expert. So we should be expert in all the authoritative scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and any service that also we are doing, we should become expert. Whatever skills that we have, we should utilize that in Krishna's service. Then the next quality is mentioned as Udasina, is without cares. Without cares doesn't mean that he's careless. Without cares means he's unattached. Unattached. So he's not careless. So devotee is unattached, and that is why he's not having worries in his heart. He's without care, like that. He's free from all pains, and he's not striving for any results. So some of these qualities are mentioned here. More qualities are mentioned. 9 more qualities. Let us move ahead to 17th verse. यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः समे प्रियः. Margi Mataji, and then Surananda Prabhuji you can do.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, one question, Prabhuji.
Oh, you have a question? I
Hare
thought you were
Krishna,
raising the hand.
Prabhuji.
Just a minute, Mataji. Parminder Prabhuji has a question. We'll take that and then we can read.
Prabhuji, any recommendation how to get to this, because it's so hard to get just one of them. So, or even like start at like even one quality.
Yeah, good question, Prabhuji. How do we develop these qualities? First of all, Prabhuji, we have to actually understand that this is our goal. Once we understand that this is our goal, 50% job is done. Because if we do not even know what goals that we have in our life, then we will just keep going in any direction and not know that, oh, this is what Krishna is expecting from us, that we should be equipoised on so many things. We should be tolerant. We should not be envious of others. We have to be kind. We have to be forgiving. We have to be expert. So many things Krishna has said. But Srila Prabhupada gives the key, saying that what is the essential, most essential quality? And the most essential quality is bhaktiman. So we have to actually develop the devotional service for Krishna. As soon as we start connecting to Krishna, then we can actually start developing other qualities. So that is one thing. The second thing is we have to actually see the role models. That if we read scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, then we will see so many qualities from these great devotees. And then once we actually have done that, then we should actually start seeing those qualities in people around us. Because we may say that, oh, Parikshit Maharaj, He was so great devotee. But such great devotees were there in that scripture. There are no devotees around us like that. And then we think that, okay, because it is for these big people, it is not for us. We are like common people. And for common people, these qualities are too high. So then we are in trouble because then we are actually giving up before even trying. So now for this Kartik month, we have started this devotee of the day. The purpose of that devotee of the day recommendation that the devotees should start seeing these good qualities in other devotees and then recommend or they actually nominate someone as a devotee of the day and then actually mention what good qualities that they are seeing in them with some example that what they have experienced in those devotees. And this way, actually, not only you would know the glories of that devotee, then other devotees will also know the glories, and then they will understand that, oh, such this devotee is so nice. And even if they are some having some envy or some difficulties in that relationship with that devotee, they will see that, oh, look at this devotee. I am actually just unhappy with this devotee for this minor thing. But such wonderful qualities that this devotee has, and other devotees can see this and they can see the good qualities in you as well. So why we should actually then be unhappy with each other? We should actually just develop good relationship with each other and serve Krishna. So we should actually see good qualities in others and those devotees around us having those good qualities, if we actually associate with them, then their good qualities will also rub on us. And then we can actually develop those qualities. We have to actually take effort. It is not that it is going to happen just like easily. If we want to become tolerant, then we have to actually practice it slowly. If you want to become a pure devotee, Krishna says that if it is not, you are not at that level, then you should do abhyasa. So sadhana bhakti is required. So similarly, if you want to develop this quality, then we have to actually start practicing those slowly, slowly at least. And when we start practicing, then we can develop it. So first of all, we should know what is the goal. Second, we have to actually focus on the essential quality, which is to become a devotee. Third, we have to actually look at this glorious example in the scriptures and then learn what is what does tolerance mean? Like when Krishna is saying that we have to be tolerant, then what does that mean? And then we have to actually see those qualities in people around us and then associate with them, and then those qualities will slowly come into us. And then finally, we have to start practicing ourselves. That it is not going to happen automatically that once one fine day Parminder Prabhuji wakes up and he's all tolerant. No, slowly, if we have to actually understand that, okay, I have to tolerate. So anything that is agitating us, then we have to say that, okay, um, in the normal situation you can tolerate only, there is nothing to tolerate actually. Only when there is an opportunity to tolerate you are able to practice this quality of tolerance. When there is something that you can see that in your heart and there is some envy getting created for someone else, that is the place that you can actually apply this non-envious, you have to become non-envious. So these qualities, then we can actually start developing that, okay, instead of becoming envious, I will try to see some good qualities in that and try to help them to further serve Krishna. So that is how slowly each quality we can actually take and talk about for a long time. But this is the model that we can actually apply for developing any good quality that you want to develop. Does that help, Prabhuji? Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, let us go ahead. Margi Mataji, you can read the translation for, we are on 17th, right? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. What is your name?
Nivan,
Nivan. Okay, go ahead.
one who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me.
Thank you, Nivan. So few more qualities are mentioned of a devotee that actually endears, that makes that devotee very dear to Krishna. So, four qualities are here in this verse. So, this person, this devotee, neither rejoices nor grieves. The devotee neither rejoices or grieves, neither laments nor desires. He renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, and he is bhaktiman. So, the essential quality is mentioned in this verse. He is a bhaktiman. So, Shubha or Ashubha. So it is said, Shubha Shubha Parityagi. Oh, actually, before that, it is mentioned, no, na vrishati, na dveshti. So neither rejoices or grieves. So if there is a material gain or loss, actually, this quality, if you see that previously we talked about, it is equipoised in happiness and distress, very similar. So that is why I'm saying that we have this 35 qualities which are mentioned, but some are overlapping. They are coming again and again. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that some of these qualities are actually Krishna is saying multiple times, just to actually emphasize that we have to be developing these qualities. So we have already discussed he neither rejoices nor grieves, or he neither laments or desires. He is actually equipoised. And then it is mentioned that he renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Papa and Punya, both are given up because he's not at the level of mode of goodness. He has to develop the transcendental Shuddha Sattva mode that he has to actually develop. So he has to really go beyond the Papa and Punya both. He has to really come to a level of Shuddha Sattva where he is not creating some good reaction or bad reaction for him. He is doing akama, and that is how he has renounced both auspicious or inauspicious. And then finally, he's a bhaktiman. This is the most essential and Swarupa Lakshan of a devotee, that he's a devotee of Lord Krishna. So this is what we have to develop. Going ahead, Gita Jayanti Mataji, you have some question or comment?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Just wanted to ask, do we have a platform where we can glorify the devotee of the day in Kartik?
Oh, yes, yes, Mataji. We have this, each program has a group. So we did not actually start doing that for our ISKCON Wellington group because ISKCON Wellington's group is too big. So we couldn't launch that. But otherwise, the home programs which we are running, for example, in Woodridge, we are running a program. In Lower Hutt, we run a program like that. So there are some smaller groups for that. So there we have been doing that. But we can actually do that in Service is the Key or some other group which is there related to the temple, and that is where we can actually start doing it if
Okay.
if you want to do it.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So coming to the next verse, which are actually two verses together. Samah Shatro cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samasanga vivarjitah tulya ninda stutir maune santushto yena kenachit aniketa stiram aniketa sthiramatir bhaktiman me priyo naraha.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who does not care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very, very dear to me.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And the next one, Uma Mataji, you can do. So here in these two verses, 9 more qualities are mentioned. Again, there are few, Krishna is actually coming back and mentioning, actually this 18th verse is mainly about being equipoised in various different situations. For example, he says, oh, actually this purport is very nice. So who wants to read the purport? Uma Mataji, you want to read the purport?
Yes,
Actually, all
sir.
purports are wonderful here, but let us read this purport, and
Yeah.
then we can discuss about it.
Yeah. A devotee is always free from all bad association. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes one is defamed. That is the nature of human society. But a devotee is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, distress and happiness. He is very patient. He does not speak of anything but the topics about Krishna. Therefore, he is called silent. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silent means that one should not speak nonsense. One should speak only of essentials. And the most essential speech for the devotee is to speak for the sake of the Supreme Lord. A devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get very palatable steps, sometimes not, but he is satisfied. Nor does he care for any residential facility. He may sometimes live underneath a tree and may sometimes live in a very palatial building. He is attracted to neither. He is called fixed because he is fixed in determination and knowledge. He maybe find some repetition in the description of the qualities of a devotee, but this is just to emphasize the fact that a devotee must acquire all these qualifications. Without good qualification, no one can be a pure devotee. Hara, harav abhyatasya kuto mahad gunaha. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification. One who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop their good qualifications. Of course, he does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these qualifications, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically helps him to develop them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother. So many good qualities are again mentioned here. So in the 18th verse, Krishna is saying that equal to the devotee is equal to friends and enemies. He is equipoised in honor and dishonor. He treats heat and cold, happiness and distress equally. He is free from contaminating association. And in the 19th verse, he says, treats fame and infamy equally. Actually, if you see, this equipoisedness is actually mentioned at various different levels here. So heat and cold is at the bodily level. That if it is sometimes it is hot, sometimes it is cold, and we feel that at the bodily level. And still, we have to actually tolerate that and remain equipoised. And even if it is heat or cold, we have to continue doing our services. Honor and dishonor. Honor and dishonor is at the level of ego. So if there is someone is honoring you, praising you, then you may think that, oh, this person is very nice. He's my friend. And someone is actually giving some dishonor, or sometimes is chastising you or whatever. And then that time you may think that, oh, this person is my enemy. So this person, like, but the devotee remains equipoised in honor and dishonor. Happiness and distress is at the level of mind. So the mind, because of the attachment and detachments that we have, we feel happiness and distress like that. And then the friend and enemy. So he's still equal to the friends and enemies. And free from contaminating association is he's having janas sangatyaga. So sangatyaga means all the materialistic association the devotee has given up, and he is just focusing on um, spiritual association. Anyway, I think we move on. Always silent. Always silent means it is not that he has to take a mauna vrat. Silent means, Srila Prabhupada explains that one should not speak nonsense. So we should not be focused on non-devotional chit chat. If we are speaking, then we should actually focus on Krishna conscious topics. The devotee is very satisfied, and Srila Prabhupada specifically gives example of food. I don't know why specifically he mentions that a devotee is very satisfied. Sometimes he will get good uh, palatable food and sometimes not, and still they should be satisfied. Clearly, devotees are too attached to prasadam. So that is why he had to at least clearly write that sometimes you may like some prasadam, but sometimes you may not like, but he still should be satisfied. Doesn't care for any residence doesn't mean that he has to actually not have a residence, but he's not attached to having a particular kind of residence. Srila Prabhupada says that someone may live under a tree and someone may live in a palatial building, and we should not get attached to any of them. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that someone asked him that why you are building these big temples, and he said that I can actually live in a small hut as well. But will you all come if I'm staying in a small hut and then there I'm running these programs? I'm building these temples because you will get attracted to it and that is why you will come. So that is why Srila Prabhupada, that is what Srila Prabhupada was saying. So he is unattached from all of these, but he is um, just doing it for all of us. And he's fixed in knowledge and determination. So many new different qualities Krishna is saying for us. And now we are coming to the final verse. Okay. Aparna Mataji, can I take your question in the end? I'll just complete this and then
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Sure.
Hare Krishna. ये तु धर्मामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्दधाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेवतीव मे प्रियः. Who was supposed to read next? Okay, Gita Jayanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So this verse actually has a little slight difference from the previous verses. Earlier, Krishna was saying that such a devotee is very dear to very dear to me. But here it is said it is very, very dear to me. Ativa. Ativa means very, very dear to me. Ativa me priyaha. So such a devotee is very, very dear. And what kind of devotee is very, very dear to Krishna? He's saying a person or a devotee who is following the imperishable path of devotional service. So again, he is focusing, emphasizing that bhaktiman, we have to be a devotee. So following the path of bhakti yoga. So that was the first question, first verse Arjuna had asked that who's more perfect, who's more dear, who's better. So Krishna is saying that who's following this imperishable path of devotional service is very, very dear to me. And he's completely engaging themselves in faith. That is, nothing can shake that person. He's very determined. And the most important thing is he's making Krishna as the supreme goal of their life. So Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, not an impersonal Brahman. Krishna is saying Mat Parama. Mat Parama means Krishna is talking about, he is making me the supreme goal of his life. And such a devotee is, Krishna is saying, Ativa me priyaha, very, very dear to me. So this is where we can understand that we can become the dearest, very, very dear person, the dearest devotee of Lord Krishna by making him the goal of our life. And all other qualities will follow. So we should have Krishna as the goal, then all our activities, if we actually arrange in our life to serve Krishna, automatically all these qualities will get developed. Okay, I think that is how we have completed the chapter of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. In this chapter, Krishna has very wonderfully explained, actually this entire section, actually entire Bhagavad Gita is talking about Bhakti Yoga. Out of this, the 6 chapters in between are talking about specifically more about Bhakti Yoga. And this particular chapter is now named itself as devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. And there we have seen Krishna has given different levels. He has established, actually in the beginning, he has established the superiority of the path of Bhakti, saying that it is very easy. And it is in this path, Krishna will swiftly deliver everyone. We will get the highest goal. And then he has given various different levels, ladder of bhakti. And then he has also given various different qualities or the to-be list for devotees by which we can make progress towards Krishna and we can become more perfect devotees. So we will finish here. Oh, just the topic discussion we will finish here. But if there are any questions, comments, summary, points, reflections, then we will take them now. Aparna Mataji, you had a question earlier.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I had a question and I had a comment as well. So
Sure,
which
please.
one should I take first, Prabhuji? What do you think?
Yeah, whatever you feel like, whatever you
Okay, okay,
want to know.
Prabhuji. I will take the comment first because that will be quick. So the comment, Prabhuji, that to-be list and the to-do list. I personally have so many to-do lists every day and it's crazy. But then the concept of to-be list is so profound. I never thought about that, you know. I mean, we talk about quality. So thank you very much for that kind
It
of
is all glories to SB Keshav Swami, that
thank you,
is his idea.
Prabhuji.
And when actually he talked about that, I also felt like that oh, I also have like an app for to-do list, and I have multiple lists there, but I never created a to-be list for myself. So
Exactly, Prabhuji. And I'm going to work on that from today itself to build this,
very
and
nice.
that will solve a lot of our problems. So thank you
Yes.
very much. That was so profound. I
Hare
can't
Krishna.
thank you enough. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, my question is, and I think this is a question for a very long, long time, and I did not get a convincing answer from anyone. So this quality where Krishna has mentioned that, you know, one of the devotee treats the enemy and non-enemy as the same. He is very dear to Krishna. And I used to wonder that if that is the case, then why Krishna, encourage Arjuna to fight against Duryodhana? Because if we start to have that equipoise and that equanimity against enemies versus non-enemy, then we can't fight, Prabhuji, can we? That with that mindset, we cannot go against anyone or do, even though we are doing it for Krishna's pleasure, but that will be a hard thing to do. So how do we reconcile these two things, Prabhuji? If you can throw some light, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Mother. It's a very good question. So it is possible, and that is why Krishna has said, given this. And the entire Bhagavad Gita is also teaching the same. So in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said that I will not fight. And we may think that, oh, this is actually a really good idea. And Arjuna is such a wonderful person that he doesn't want to fight with his relatives in front. And he's just giving up. He's not attached to anything. And it is actually uh, better path or better choice that Arjuna is making instead of fighting against them. He's just giving it up and going to the forest. But Krishna is not happy with that. At the same time, he's saying that he should be equipoised. So they are not contradictory. So they are actually same. Krishna is saying that just because uh, in your mind you are thinking that they are mine and they are not mine, that is actually the reason for doing your activities. So your activity is coming from your, like the intention of your activity is coming from your mind. And Krishna is not happy with that. Krishna is saying that you should do it as a duty. In the beginning, he says that do it as a duty. Of course, at the bhakti level, he's saying that do it as for my pleasure. So the intention of doing the activity should not be that this will please me and this will not please me. Because then you are self-centered, that you are putting yourself in the center and then thinking that I should do this, I should not do this because this will bring me happiness, this will bring me distress. And if you actually having this criteria, or this is the reason why you are actually doing any activities, then you will give up some good activities as well. And you will start doing some bad activities as well. And the perfect example is Kamsa. Now, Kamsa, he was going to take his sister, and he was going to become a chariot driver for Devaki. And everyone was actually glorifying him, saying that, oh, such a big prince, and he's like literally he's like a king because everything he was running, even though he was a prince. So he's like such a big, powerful person, and he has taken the activity of becoming very menial activity of a chariot driver. And people were thinking that, wow, this is wonderful. But as soon as he heard that his sister's eighth son is going to be killing him, he forget about love for his sister, He immediately took out his sword and he wanted to kill her. Now, this is what is we are talking about, the harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna, that a non-devotee will never have good qualities. What it means is that if your mind is actually taking you and making you decide what to do and what not to do, in one moment you may be actually a good person, a so-called good person, and in the next moment, as soon as things start going against your desires, then you will become a bad person. And that is not a good idea. So manorathena sa satodhavato bahi, that we don't want our qualities to be decided by this mind's chariot. And our desire, our decision should not be based on this. And that is what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna. That if you are not doing this activity because it is not going to give you pleasure, then that is the wrong reason for not fighting. What you have to do is, you have to actually become equipoised in happiness and distress and do it as a duty. So, other question that a part of your question was about, if we do not have this enemy and friendship, then why should Yudhishthira or Arjuna fight with Duryodhana?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, in your heart, what you have is actually is deciding whether you are friend or enemy. So one of the names of Yudhishthir Maharaj is Ajatashatru. Now, initially I was thinking that, oh, he's Ajatashatru means that he has no enemies. But how can he be called Ajatashatru? Because Duryodhana is his enemy. So then I understood that Duryodhana is considering Yudhishthir as an enemy. But Yudhishthir Maharaj is not considering Duryodhana as an enemy, even when Duryodhana is acting as an enemy to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthir Maharaj is still doing this fighting, and he is still like Arjuna is not becoming a king. Yudhishthir Maharaj is going to become a king. So this Yuddha or this war is between Yudhishthir Maharaj and Duryodhana. And Arjuna is only helping Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is Ajatashatru. He is not considering Duryodhana as his enemy. Still he is fighting because he is want to establish the principles of religion. As a Kshatriya, he has to actually protect other people from harm. And one of the responsibility of Kshatriyas as well is to maintain the law and order, maintain the religious principles. If Duryodhana becomes the king, then it is clear for all the people in the world or in the kingdom that no matter how you behave, no matter how much adharma you do, you can still enjoy, and that is okay. So Yudhishthir Maharaj has to actually establish the principle. He has to actually fight for dharma to come on top, and the dharma has to actually win over adharma. And that is also actually, this is a good point. This is also the significance of Diwali, right? That the dharma is winning over adharma. So even though Yudhishthir Maharaj is not considering Duryodhana as an enemy, and he's still fighting that war to make sure that his dharma is maintained, and as a Kshatriya, his duty is to establish that principles of religion, and as a devotee as well. So he's trying to do that. Is that making sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think I have got my answer. You have explained it very beautifully and it does make sense. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Any
Hare
other
Krishna.
reflections, comments from anyone else? Summary points, reflections, comments, questions? No? Okay. Fine. Then we will stop here today. And from next week onwards, we are getting into the last section of 6 chapters where a lot of jnana is mentioned. And this jnana is also taking us towards Krishna, towards bhakti. So we will start talking about that section from next week. It's very complicated chapter, next chapter, which is Kshetra Vibhaga Yoga. So, but we will talk about that next week. So for now, we'll stop here. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रीला
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय,
Jai.
हरे कृष्णा।